We were so wrong about Sofia, Bulgaria when we first just came here. We had no idea what to expect. This is the neighborhood we initially chose to stay in without knowing a thing. And our story is that we want to retire early. Our goal is to maximize the savings, lower the taxes, and settle somewhere where we can do something meaningful for the local community. So when we heard about Bulgaria, 10% taxes, both personal and corporate, well, let's go check it out. But without doing much research, we ended up here. At first glance, it looked fine, but let me show you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Olga, and for the last 8 years, I've been traveling and living in different countries in Europe and Asia. And in the last 5 years, together with my husband Rene, we've lived long-term in Antalya, Turkey and in Da Nang, Vietnam. Now we are here in Bulgaria, showing you the realities of living here and helping everyone who wants to make the same move. You can't just settle somewhere because taxes are low. You have to actually enjoy living there, because tomorrow is not guaranteed and you have to enjoy the life you're living right now. And when I first saw this neighborhood, I couldn't help but think, what did we get ourselves into? The tiny sidewalks, the uneven pavement, it's just a question of time until I sprain an ankle or break a leg. So we started thinking, okay, we'll just tough it out, maximize our savings, then retire somewhere else. That was our mindset at first. When you see something like this, you're like, yeah, so how safe is it here? But here's the thing, first impressions are not everything. Because luckily, we didn't just spend one day here and then leave. Even though we were staying in this neighborhood, we did explore others. And over time, Sofia grew on us. In the end, we decided, let's relocate, let's give it a real chance, and now our perspective is completely different. We are now thinking more into, could we buy an apartment here, could we retire or not? I mean, it's still not decided, but we are seriously considering it. If you watched my previous videos, you already know, my opinion of Sofia has totally changed. It's like night and day. And today I want to take you around the city center, show you what life here is really like, just a raw, unfiltered look. Take these cobblestone streets for example. Right next to the rough neighborhood we first stayed in, there is Kvartal, an artsy area full of street art, cool coffee shops and all kinds of trendy spots. It's completely different. So if you're coming here for the first time, don't rush to judge. Your experience will depend on where you stay. First 6 months we spent figuring out how things work here. That was the main reason why I didn't post that many videos on the channel. If you're also looking into living in Bulgaria and wondering how is it gonna be, I started a chat where you can ask me any questions. Check out the link in the description. Our biggest concern before moving to Sofia was how rough the winters are. Is it too cold? After living in Antalya and Da Nang, we got used to the good life, mild, warm winters. So even though we still plan to travel a lot, especially in the winter, we wanted to know from our own experience what winter in Sofia would actually be like. Is it too snowy? Is it too cold? And what months exactly are the coldest? Right now I can say that some days it snowed, some days it rained, but there was so many sunny days too. And let me tell you, winter here is nothing like winter in Germany or in the Netherlands, for example. It's so much milder. We'll probably still travel somewhere warmer next winter for a month or two, but honestly, winter here isn't bad at all by Northern European standards. And if you're coming from Canada or northern part of the US, it is much warmer here. Now we're walking through a completely different neighborhood. Just imagine how beautiful this will be in the summer when everything turns green. And what you're seeing now, this is the worst it gets. Most of the year, it's sunny, green and full of flowers. I've read your comments on the first 2 Bulgaria videos, and most of them have been incredibly supportive, and I appreciate every single one. Your encouragement, it does keep me going, because these videos, they do take a lot of time, and hearing your thoughts, it does boost my morale. But I did want to address the negative ones, that people say that we made a mistake, that we're gonna regret it, this is the worst choice, and so on and so on. After traveling for so many years and living in different places, I think the main thing that I learned, the main lesson that life has given me, is to appreciate what you have. It might sound like settling for less, but believe me, it's far from that. I moved around quite a lot in the last 8 years, and no matter what is happening in the world, I always know I have choices. There is no reason to settle in a country that just doesn't feel right. After living in Germany, I appreciate having sunshine here in Sofia in the middle of the winter, and if you don't see that as a privilege, you probably haven't lived where I've lived. And having sunny days in February, that's a huge deal. And the affordable and accessible healthcare here, I so often hear from people living in Europe, US or Canada that they are struggling to see a specialist doctor or just can't even afford to see one without insurance. The ease of getting a residency if you have a European passport or retired. It was not as easy in Vietnam where we lived before, and it became almost impossible in Turkey. I shared all the pros of living in Bulgaria in the previous video, check it out if you didn't see it, and I can say that I don't take any of that for granted. Nobody's promised tomorrow, and nobody has to grant us a perfect place to live, so I'm definitely grateful to be able to get a 5-year residency in a country like Bulgaria and be able to actually afford a good life here. And for me and my husband, being able to live comfortably on our budget, which I shared in the previous video as well, while still being in Europe, is something we're incredibly grateful for. We are not looking for the absolute cheapest place to live. We want a good lifestyle, and we found that balance here in Sofia. There aren't many places in Europe that offer the same quality of life. I mean, sidewalks might be in a better shape than the Netherlands, and you won't see old buildings that are not restored. You're watching all of these cost of living videos, and you notice that actually groceries here might be quite costly, almost the same price as in Germany. But if you count all the expenses, the rent, the medical expenses, plus the taxes, which here are only 10%, then suddenly living here, you understand you will be saving a lot, which is one of our goals too, save now and retire early. If you look at the big picture, at the actual quality of living, I would choose Bulgaria any day. Feeling safe in the place where you're living is very important, especially when you're a foreigner and not a local who knows their way around. In Sofia, I've never felt unsafe. Of course, like anywhere, you use common sense, don't wander alone at night in unfamiliar areas. But if I compare Sofia to other popular cities in Europe, like Barcelona, Athens, Lisbon, Amsterdam, we spent some time in all of those cities, and I would say that Sofia feels even safer to me. In the guide, I will also share the neighborhoods where expats are usually staying in Sofia. Now we're walking towards the mineral water springs, right in the city center. And here's one of the prettiest buildings around, the former Central Mineral Bathhouse, and now it's a history museum. Oh, in the summer, there's a beautiful fountain right here. This mosque behind me, it's the only one left from the Ottoman era, and the others were destroyed, but this one remains. On the opposite side of the road, this beautiful building is a trade hall. It used to be that back in the day, people from all over Bulgaria would come here to shop. So we're now walking into the main street that you will be frequenting, that you will visit regularly if you're applying for your residency, because there on the right, in about 2-minute walk from here, there is the migration office where you apply for your residency. So here we have a mosque, there we have a church, here we have a trade hall, and these days it's a fancy supermarket that you can enter absolutely freely. supermarket with a fountain inside. Just look at that. Something that you won't find in a regular supermarket is this variety of fish. So we just got out and you see that was the mosque. So here is the synagogue. I wonder if it's open. If you're Bulgarian watching this, please tell me if I can get inside. I would be really curious to see it from the inside. Looks really beautiful. And that's the central hall from the other side. Looks pretty cool. First time I saw it, I did not even know that I can just easily get in and there is a supermarket. So here we go. I just went to this shop to get some acrylic paints. I go out in 10 minutes and you see we have the sunshine. I mean, I did not expect to have this. I was thinking I was going to be showing you the gray Sofia. But yeah, tough luck. The sun is relentless here. It just comes out and out. And if you don't appreciate that, well, I mean, you do you. I certainly think that that's one of the best things about living here, that it is so sunny. So I can't shut up about it. But yeah, really, it already makes me feel much better that the sun is out. Here in the city center, walking around, you see the blend of old and new just everywhere. For example, there's a DM store. If you're from Germany, you know the chain. And on the right here, oh, hello. These kind of cars here are often. Anyway, here on the right we have Istanbul Kebab. And this is a shopping street. Here we have again the Billa on the left, a supermarket, and all kinds of shops to the left and to the right. And believe me again that in the summertime it looks much prettier here. Everything is green. And even now in the winter, in February, people are still eating outdoors. It is warm enough. And I'm actually taking you with me to lunch at a place I've never tried before. So let's go. There's straight ahead the central metro station Serdica and Narodno Sabranie. I mean, I think on the second day where we came to Sofia, we saw this neighborhood. And yeah, of course it changes how you perceive the city. So this is the cafe I wanted to visit, Isis Cafe, right here in the city center. I must confess that wining and dining in Sofia is not on the same level as in some other big capital cities. This is not Amsterdam, this is not New York or Bangkok. But this allows for cool little places like these. It had sort of a hipster vibe, and the staff, they were all young and speaking very good English. Prices, especially for the city center place, are really good. Now I saved the best for last, because one of the biggest surprises for us the first time in Sofia was Vitosha Boulevard. This is the main pedestrian street in Sofia, packed with cafes, restaurants and shops. It has a completely different vibe, very modern, lively and full of energy. Walking down the street in the evening with all the lights on and the people enjoying dinner outdoors, it does make you realize that Sofia has a lot more to offer than you might think at a first glance. If you're thinking about moving to Sofia, don't judge too quickly. First impressions can be deceiving, and our initial reaction was completely wrong. Now, after living here for a while, we love it. It's not perfect, but it's a fantastic city for the cost, the lifestyle and the weather. Check out these videos to see if Sofia might be the right city for you too.